The rain-slicked streets of Brooklyn gleamed under the sodium glow of street lamps as Jamal Hayes sprinted from the subway, his umbrella inside out from the wind, straight into the lap of a stranger sprawled on the wet pavement outside a corner bodega. Coffee exploded everywhere, hot, dark, and unforgiving, staining Jamal's crisp white shirt and the guy's faded band tee. "Oh shit, man, I'm so sorry," Jamal yelped, his voice cracking like thunder, while the stranger, Alex Rivera, though Jamal didn't know it yet, looked up with mud-streaked cheeks and eyes wide as saucers, his dignity pooling around his sneakers. In that split second, amid the downpour and the honking taxis, Jamal felt a spark, not just from the embarrassment, but something deeper, electric, that made his heart stutter like a skipped beat in a half-written love song. It was the third time. The first had been 2 months back at a packed indie concert in Bushwick, where Jamal, wedged against the bar, had accidentally elbowed Alex in the ribs while reaching for a beer, sending the guy's drink cascading down his jeans like a biblical flood. Alex had laughed it off then, a low, rumbling sound that cut through the bass-heavy indie rock, but Jamal had bolted, cheeks burning, convinced he'd just assaulted a hot stranger. The second clash? A sweltering July morning at the Prospect Park Farmers Market, where Jamal's overzealous grab for the last ripe mango had knocked Alex's entire basket of heirloom tomatoes to the ground, turning the grass into a pulpy crime scene. Apologies tumbled out, awkward and profuse, but Alex's grin, sharp, forgiving, with a dimple that punched Jamal right in the gut, lingered in his dreams for weeks. Now, soaked to the bone on this October night, Jamal extended a hand, slick with rain and regret. Alex took it, his grip firm despite the chaos, and hauled himself up. Up close, he was even more striking. Olive skin flushed from the fall, dark curls plastered to his forehead, and those hazel eyes that seemed to hold the weight of unspoken stories. "You again," Alex said, not accusing, but with a lilt of amusement that twisted Jamal's stomach into knots. Fate's got a twisted sense of humor. Jamal laughed, a nervous bark that echoed off the brick walls. "Tell me about it. I'm Jamal, by the way. And seriously, let me buy you a new shirt. Or coffee. Or therapy for whatever curse this is." He meant it as a joke, but the words hung heavy, laced with the vulnerability he usually buried under layers of sarcasm and late-night shifts at the graphic design firm in Manhattan. Jamal Hayes, 24, black, bi, and perpetually single in a city that chewed up hearts like stale bagels, had spent years dodging anything real, convinced love was just another urban myth peddled by rom-coms and overpriced brunches. Alex wiped a streak of mud from his jaw, his smile crooked and kind. "Alex, and nah, man, I've survived worse. But coffee sounds good, if you're not running off again." There it was, that pull, magnetic and terrifying, drawing Jamal in like the tide against the rocks. They ducked into the bodega, the bell jingling like a warning, and over steaming mugs of mediocre drip, words flowed easier than the rain outside. Alex was 25, a freelance photographer chasing light in the shadows of New York, originally from a tight-knit Puerto Rican family in the Bronx who still thought his phase of dating guys was just that, a phase. Jamal shared snippets of his own life. Raised by a single mom in Harlem, sketching dreams into reality on his tablet, but haunted by the ghost of a high school ex who bailed when things got too real. By the time the storm cleared, leaving the city humming with wet electricity, Jamal had Alex's number burned into his phone. "Text me," Alex said at the door, his voice soft, eyes searching. Jamal nodded, pulse racing, but as he walked home through the cooling night, doubt crept in like fog off the East River. What if this was just another cosmic prank? What if the universe kept shoving them together only to yank it all away? Little did he know, the universe had bigger plans, and they started with a fake dating scheme that would unravel everything. The next collision came faster than a subway during rush hour. It was a crisp Saturday in November, and Jamal was roped into his cousin Lena's annual Thanksgiving prep party at her cramped apartment in Crown Heights. The air thick with the scent of sofrito and spiced turkey, relatives crammed every corner, debating politics and portion sizes with the fervor of gladiators. Jamal, nursing a rum punch to steel his nerves, was cornered by Tia Rosa, Lena's sharp-tongued aunt with a stare that could curdle milk. "Jamal, Mijo, when are you settling down? A nice girl, maybe? Your mama worries." He forced a smile, the kind that hid the ache of being the family's unspoken outlier, the bi guy who brought friends to holidays but never anyone real. "Soon, Tia. Got my eye on someone." A lie, bold and reckless, born from desperation. That's when the door burst open, and in tumbled Alex, drenched from a sudden squall, carrying a precarious stack of Tupperware for Lena, his roommate's best friend, apparently. Their eyes locked across the room, Jamal's punch sloshing over the rim of his glass. Alex froze, a deer in Family Inquisition headlights, then grinned like he'd been saved by divine intervention. "Alex, get over here, you lifesaver," Lena crowed, pulling him into a hug. But Tia Rosa's radar pinged. "And who's this fine young man?" she demanded, eyeing Alex like he was the main course. Jamal's brain short-circuited. "Fake it till you make it? Hell, why not? That's my boyfriend," he blurted, the word tasting foreign and sweet on his tongue. Alex's eyebrows shot up, but to his credit, he played along, sliding an arm around Jamal's waist with a casual ease that sent heat flooding through him. "Guilty as charged. Jamal's been keeping me on my toes." The room erupted in coos and questions, but beneath the chaos, Alex's thumb traced a subtle circle on Jamal's hip. Accidental? Intentional? It didn't matter. It ignited something fierce and fragile. By dessert, they were a spectacle, feeding each other bites of flan under the watchful eyes of cousins, dodging invasive queries about how you met, with a polished tale of bumping into each other at that concert, literally. Alex's laugh was genuine, his knee pressing against Jamal's under the table, a silent promise in the midst of the charade. As the night wound down, relatives piling out with foil-wrapped leftovers, Tia Rosa pulled Jamal aside. "He's a keeper, Mijo. Don't mess this up." Her words landed like a gut punch, because for the first time, Jamal didn't want to. Outside on the stoop, rain pattering on the awning above, Alex lit a cigarette, a habit Jamal hadn't pegged him for, and exhaled a plume into the night. "Boyfriend, huh? Bold move." His tone was teasing, but his eyes were serious, searching Jamal's face in the glow of the streetlight. Jamal shrugged, heart hammering. Heat of the moment. "You were a natural, though. Oscar-worthy." He wanted to say more. How the lie felt truer than anything in years. How Alex's touch lingered like a bruise he didn't want to heal, but the word stuck. Alex stubbed out the smoke, stepping closer. The air between them crackled, heavy with unsaid things. "What if we make it real? Just for a bit. Family's off my back, too. My abuela's been on a rampage about grandkids. Fake dating could buy us time." He paused, vulnerability cracking his voice. "Or, see where it goes." Jamal's breath caught. Time. Or a chance. The city sprawled around them, indifferent and alive, as he nodded. "Yeah, let's do it." Their first real kiss was tentative, tasting of rum and rain, sealing a pact that felt like jumping off a ledge into the unknown. But New York had a way of testing even the sturdiest illusions. Their relationship kicked off with a bang, or rather, a crash, at the annual Winter Wonderland Market in Union Square. Decked out in matching scarves Lena had thrust upon them, for the aesthetic. They wandered the stalls, hands clasped to sell the story to anyone who might Instagram it back to family group chats. Jamal's fingers tingled where they intertwined with Alex's, the warmth seeping through gloves a quiet thrill. They sampled mulled wine, Alex's laughter bubbling as Jamal pretended to be a wine connoisseur, spouting nonsense about notes of cinnamon and regret. Then disaster struck, as it always did with them. Navigating a throng near the ice rink, Jamal tripped over a rogue extension cord for the twinkling lights, yanking Alex down with him in a tangle of limbs and hot chocolate. They landed in a heap, mugs shattering, chocolate splattering like abstract art across white fur hats. Onlookers chuckled, but Jamal's mortification burned hotter than the spilled drink, until he saw Alex's face, not annoyed, but alight with mischief. "See? Even fate's got a sweet tooth," Alex quipped, wiping a smear from Jamal's cheek with his thumb, the touch lingering too long, too intimate. They laughed it off, retreating to a quieter bench, but the spill had drawn eyes, including those of Marcus, Alex's ex, a smug tech bro with a jawline like chiseled marble and a grudge that festered like bad takeout. Marcus sauntered over, all polished coat and predatory smile. "Alex, didn't expect to see you slumming it in Cocoa Chaos. Who's the klutz?" Alex stiffened, his hand tightening on Jamal's. "Marcus, this is Jamal, my boyfriend." The word carried weight now, a shield and a sword. Marcus's laugh was a bark. "Boyfriend? Cute. Last I checked, you couldn't commit to a coffee order." It was a low blow, dredging up the wreckage of their year-long fling. Alex's heartbreak when Marcus ghosted for a better option, leaving him questioning every vulnerability. Jamal felt the tension coil like a spring. He stood, squaring up despite the 5-inch height difference. "Last I checked, real men don't need to measure dicks in public. Walk away." His voice was steady, laced with the fire his mom had taught him to wield against bullies. Marcus sneered but backed off, muttering something about slumming it, vanishing into the crowd like smoke. Alex sagged against Jamal, exhaling shakily. "You didn't have to do that." But his eyes shone, gratitude and something hotter flickering there. "Yeah, I did," Jamal murmured, pulling him close. In the shadow of the Christmas tree, surrounded by carolers and glittering lights, they kissed, fierce, claiming, erasing Marcus's shadow with the taste of chocolate and defiance. It wasn't fake anymore, it was a lifeline. Word of the heroic boyfriend spread through Alex's circle like wildfire. Invites poured in. A Hanukkah party in Williamsburg where Jamal charmed a room of artsy Jews with his offbeat sketches. A Kwanzaa gathering in Bed-Stuy where Alex's quiet awe at Jamal's family stories melted the last of his walls. Each event wove them tighter, stolen glances over lax, whispered confessions during candlelighting, bodies pressed close in crowded subways home. But beneath the romance, cracks formed. Alex's camera captured it all. Jamal mid-laugh, eyes crinkled with joy. Jamal asleep on the F train, head on Alex's shoulder. Yet at night, alone in his tiny studio, Alex stared at the photos, fear gnawing. What if this was just the universe's longest prank? What if Jamal woke up and saw the mess? The debt from freelance gigs, the family pressure to go straight, the scars from Marcus that still ached. Jamal felt it too, in the quiet moments. His designs at work turned abstract, swirls of color that screamed unspoken longing. "This is real, right?" He'd ask over late-night takeout, voice small. Alex would nod, pulling him into bed, their bodies a tangle of reassurance. But doubt whispered, how long could fake hold before it fractured? The breaking point came on a biting December eve, at the office holiday party Jamal had dreaded. Towering glass walls of the Manhattan high-rise overlooked the glittering skyline, but inside, it was a viper pit of forced cheer and passive-aggressive toasts. Jamal's boss, a slick viper named Trent, had been riding him hard, overtime without pay, snide comments about diversity hires, and tonight, with eggnog flowing, Trent cornered him by the bar. "Hayes, loosen up. Or is that boyfriend of yours keeping you on a short leash? The room spun as Trent's hand clamped Jamal's shoulder. Too tight. Too familiar. Enter Alex, fashionably late with a bottle of artisanal hot sauce as a gag gift, his coat dusted with snow. He clocked the scene instantly, Jamal's rigid posture, Trent's leer, and waded in like a knight in scuffed Doc Martens. Everything good here? Alex's tone was silk over steel, arms slipping around Jamal's waist. Trent's eyes narrowed. Just chatting with the talent. You must be the arm candy. The word landed like a slap, and Jamal flinched, old insecurities roaring back, the kid from Harlem who'd fought to prove he belonged. Alex's jaw tightened, but he kept cool. Arm candy? Nah, I'm the whole damn meal. And Jamal's the chef. He steered Jamal away, but not before whispering. You okay? In the coat check, away from the din, Jamal shattered. It's bullshit. They see us as a punchline. And what if this is all we are? A joke the universe cooked up? Alex cupped his face, thumbs brushing tears Jamal hadn't realized were falling. Hey, we're not a joke. We're us. Messy, embarrassing, real. Their foreheads touched, breaths mingling in the dim light. I love you, Jamal. Not the fake version. The one who trips over cords and stands up to assholes. All of you. The words hung, raw and radiant. Jamal's heart cracked open, spilling light. I love you too. God, Alex, I have for months. They kissed there, amid forgotten scarves and the hum of the city below, a vow forged in vulnerability. No more pretending. This was theirs, hard-won and whole. But fate, that capricious bitch, wasn't done. Word of the confrontation reached Trent's ears, twisted into a HR nightmare. By New Year's, Jamal faced a choice: transfer to a dead-end branch in Queens or quit. Alex, meanwhile, landed a dream gig, shooting for a queer mag in San Francisco, a 6-month stint that screamed escape. Come with me. Alex begged one snowy night in Jamal's apartment, city lights painting their skin gold. We could start fresh. No more collisions, just us. Jamal's chest ached. Fresh start? Or running from the fight? I can't just bail. My mom's here in my life. But you should go. Don't let me hold you back. The lie tasted like ash. He wanted to scream yes, to chase sunsets across the bridge with Alex forever. But fear, of failing, of not being enough, chained him. Alex's face crumpled, the dimple vanishing. This isn't fake anymore. Don't make it end like this. They argued through tears, words like shrapnel. You're choosing safe over us. I'm choosing real life. By dawn, Alex was gone, suitcase in hand, leaving a note. Fate shoved us together. Don't let fear shove us apart. Call me. January dragged, gray and gutting. Jamal threw himself into job hunts, sketches turning dark, fractured hearts in urban sprawl. His family noticed, Tia Rose's knowing looks cutting deep. Love's not a straight line, Mijo. It's a subway, twists, delays, but it gets you home. Alex's absence echoed, empty texts, phantom touches. In San Francisco, Alex buried in fog and filters, his lens captured Golden Gates, but missed Jamal's chaos. Marcus texted once, a slimy told you so, but Alex deleted it, heart a hollow ache. The universe, ever the meddler, struck again in February. Jamal, on a whim, flew west for a design conference, desperate for distraction. At the airport gate in San Francisco Airport, nursing a latte, he glanced up and there was Alex, boarding pass in hand, eyes locking across the terminal like magnets. Time froze. Alex's flight home, Jamal's to anywhere but here. They collided in the aisle, literally, Jamal's bag snagging Alex's foot, spilling dreams and dignity once more. You came? Alex breathed, voice breaking. Couldn't run anymore, Jamal whispered, pulling him into a hug that silenced the crowd. In that terminal limbo, they spilled it all. fears, regrets, the love that had outgrown the lie. "Marry me?" Jamal asked, impulsive as their first crash, ringless but ringed in truth. Alex laughed through tears. "Only if we promise more embarrassing moments." Back in New York by spring, they built from the rubble. Jamal landed a gig at a queer-owned studio, Alex's photos gracing gallery walls. Family fused, Abuela's eras con candles at Kwanzaa, Tia Rosa toasting at their commitment ceremony in Prospect Park, cherry blossoms raining like blessings. No more forced dates, just them, running into forever, one heartfelt stumble at a time. In the end, love wasn't about avoiding embarrassment. It was embracing the mess, finding grace in the fall, and rising together, hands clasped, hearts open to the wild, wondrous unknown. Their story, etched in coffee stains and stolen kisses, whispered a truth. In a world that rushes to judge, the most beautiful collisions are the ones that change everything.